Honorable Men Discord, Shawn Kemp, aka Rain Man, arrested for a 2023 shooting. Let's talk about it.
How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new. I would never cower.
As always, welcome back to another episode. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's get straight to it. So, former NBA professional player Shawn Kemp, who formerly played for the Seattle Supersonics, found himself in court defending against a charge in 2023 where he discharged his firearm. But let's get into this news report and then we'll talk about it further.
Here at 5, a huge relief for former Seattle Supersonics star Shawn Kemp, who just learned he will not have to spend 9 months in jail. Kemp was sentenced today for firing shots in the parking lot of the Tacoma Mall back in 2023 during a dispute over stolen property. Good evening, I'm Molly Shen.
And I'm Preston Phillips. Prosecutors wanted Kemp to serve time in jail, but his defense attorney said the victims provoked Kemp and shot at him first. Couples Jeremy Harris live outside the Pierce County Courthouse this evening. Jeremy, Kemp had a lot of support there.
Well, and he had a lot on the line when he walked into the courthouse here in Tacoma today. He was facing the reality of spending potentially months in jail for this, but by this afternoon, he was able to walk out of the courthouse with his family. Now, this during a 3-hour sentencing hearing this afternoon. Prosecutors argued that Kemp unnecessarily fired 4 shots at men that he accused of stealing his cell phone. Kemp pleaded guilty to second-degree assault earlier this year, but his defense attorney said that not only did Kemp take responsibility for his actions, but the 2 men who he shot at were suspected of breaking into Kemp's car and stealing things, and also both had lengthy criminal records. Kemp said that he heard a shot come from inside their car before he fired. Now, the judge determined that Kemp will have to serve 30 days of electronic home monitoring, do community service, and then be under court supervision for a year. We were able to talk with Kemp just after the hearing, and here's what he told us.
I'm frustrated at myself because I believe I could have made a better decision with the law. And I think sometimes when you take the law into your hand, the problem becomes bigger. And I think that's what happened with this case. Just by me taking the law into my hand, a simple phone call probably could have handled this.
Now, that shooting happened back in March of 2023. Now, in court, we did learn some new details about that shooting and who Kemp shot at, including the fact that, according to the defense, 3 months later, one of the men who was shot at by Kemp apparently shot another man in Renton multiple times, thinking that it was Kemp. Now, the judge here agreed with the defense attorneys that there was no need for him to serve a jail sentence, and also took into consideration some of the actions of the 2 men who there were accused of stealing Kemp's cell phone before all of this kicked off in the first place. Now, in court today, we heard not only from Kemp himself, we also heard from his personal attorney, as well as his wife and several people who were there to support him. As I was watching him through this hearing, you could tell this really weighed on him, and he was emotional at times, especially while his wife was talking about the impact that Shawn Kemp has had on the community here in the years while he was also an NBA Supersonics player, and in the years since he's become a community leader and a local business owner. For him today, though, a major win. Reporting live in Pierce County.
So first, I want to say I'm glad that he pretty much got an easy how do I put it? Having the monitor, I think he's going to be on the monitor for a year. He got off easy. So to me, that was a win for Shawn Kemp. I know that there was an incident with him. He owns a dispensary. I saw a while back his dispensary was robbed. People backed up a truck, I think, in his dispensary and stole some things, or tried to take an ATM from his dispensary, something along those lines. So he's been going through a lot, but he's got to know, and he recognizes it. He's got to know that, when you use your firearm in a public space, you're not going to win that. It's not going to go in your favor, regardless of why you're using your firearm in a public space. In this case, it had to do with his items, but he's going to be all right. I think he seems like he's a good guy, aside from my bias, because I was a huge fan of him when he was a player. But I think he pretty much got off with a good deal. He doesn't have to serve any jail time behind bars. To be able to be out home free with your family with the ankle monitor, and I think like 30 days community service or something like that they mentioned. I think he'll be fine, you know. But there's not much really to say on this. You know, I personally don't know him personally, but he seems like he's a genuine dude. Always class act, even when he was in the league. You know, one of my favorite basketball players, along with Michael Jordan. I know this has nothing to do with the topic, but one of my favorite basketball players. I was rooting for him to win the dunk contest one year that he lost when he jumped from the free throw. But that's all I have to say on this. You know, I wish Shawn Kemp the best and his family the best. And that's it. What's your thoughts on this whole ordeal? I think it's pretty much cut and dry. For those of you that have registered weapons, I know it's easier said than done, because when you're in those type of situations, you know, hearing another person's opinion on an event that they've never lived through. You know, I've never had items stolen from me, and I never found myself in a position to have to use a handgun. But just know that if you are a legal owner of a firearm, the moment you take it out in a public place, even though if you think it's justified, unless you're being shot at, you know, that might be a different scenario. But if it's to like just use as force against people that are trying to take something from you, I don't think you're gonna win that in any court of law. But I could be wrong. You know, I don't know all the laws for different states, but in this situation, clearly he wasn't justified in using his firearm. But that's all I have on this episode. As always, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.